We said before, we thank you for this beautiful Lord's Day. We just thank you for everything that you do for us, Lord. As we go forth tonight in this meeting, Lord, we ask that you just give guidance for through these discussions that are taking place. And we hope that every decision made here tonight will be pleasing in your eyes. We ask this all in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everyone for coming out tonight. Hope and pray you get quit when you leave. Start off a roll call. I'll do this real quick. Curtis is back there. Jeff, he's hiding. I'm here. He's here. Miss Sue's here. Tyler's here. Franklin's here. I'm here. Miss Sherry's here. Miss Virginia's here. Mr. Warren is with us. Everybody is here. Have you had a chance to approve the agenda?
Move approval of the agenda.
I second.
We have a motion with a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carries. Next up, the minutes from the May 20th, 24 Town Council meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from May 20th, 2024 Town Council meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carries. Next up is public participation. To come up and speak tonight for us, we ask that you fill out a speaker request form that is in the back. You also need to submit it to Ms. Mindy, we'll just read that in the back. We need you to approach the podium, state your full name and address for the record, for our records. And we would ask that you keep your comments limited to a limit of 3 minutes per person. All right. First of all, we'll go through that first. Can we do that first? All right, do we have anybody on the first? I've got Robbie.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We are getting a bit of rain, Robert, out at my place. So, anyway, I just want to say that it came to my attention a couple of weeks ago about a matter regarding Ms. Kokinsey in her mobile home. I consider a fifth wheeler a mobile home. We've got a lot of people living in them, and they're mighty nice. And with the beautiful roof over and the lovely lot that's so clean and nice and really adds to the neighborhood. And that there was some concern because there was some problem with zoning that because her other one wore out and had to be replaced, that she not be able to live in there, and that charging her $200 a day. And I'm 77 myself, and I thank God, I can still get out and do everything, even with back surgery and the like. But to impose that on somebody and really prepare to make them homeless, I find it cruel and unusual. And I think that there were some things done in the zoning committee meeting that weren't right. And so I just want to add my voice to say that I would like for you all to take another vote tonight and reconsider what you're possibly doing to this lady who's been a member of our community all these many years. We all know their families. And I just would hope that you would find it in your hearts to look into this deeper and take another turn at it. Thank you.
While we're doing this, Elijah, I'm going to let you go ahead.
Okay. As I talked with you earlier today, you told me on that subject that Mr. Warren had some information that he was going to read to everybody to clarify that.
Mr. Warren has a statement that he's going to read to us, a letter that he has prepared, this from the legal standpoint, and he will be presenting that in just a few minutes.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
Okay? is the 2024, let's see, do we have anybody else? That's two that we have, right?
So, two here?
Pardon me? That's all?
Yeah.
That was it, okay. Next up, we have is the 2024 Scholarship Awards for Bronson, I gotta say that, Bronson Middle High School. Get it right. So, at this time, those recipients are Ms. Abigail Johnson, y'all have to help me, that's Devonna Cox, is that it? Did I pronounce that right? I'm getting good, I get a start.
You got it right.
And Michaela Phillips.
You got that one right too.
Did I get that? Thank y'all, thank y'all. Did you what? This is.
One more time, please.
Set the town.
Come up in front of the podium, baby.
We were missing
Yeah,
one.
sometimes I use yours, so.
This is Giovanni.
Giovanni. Okay. Yes. Look at this one, This is a big deal. Beautiful. All right.
Go good, go good.
And this of course is for their scholarships. And you want to tell us how much it was for?
This one was for 1,000.
There you go.
And they would like to say, but they have a softball banquet going on right now as well, so they'll probably step out.
Please, y'all.
Thank y'all
Bye.
again.
Thank you. We understand, we understand challenges to keep it up, especially.
Thank goodness the other meeting was across.
This don't have to. Okay. Okay, the next thing I have up is, we have a letter of support from Senator Perry for our septic tank phase out project. It is in your package. And it is just a letter of support to promote this project. So you want to read that?
I will read it into the record, yes. So to address to Mayor Parton, says, Dear Mayor Parton, I am writing to you in support of the grant applied to for the town of Bronson Septic Tank Phase Out Project Phase 3. Approval of this funding will greatly assist in more than double the current over 200 residents on sewer. The sewer rates have been increasing each year, and this project should help stabilize the rates. I strongly support the full funding request for the Septic Tank Phase Out Project Phase 3. If I can be of any further assistance, or if you need more information, please feel free to contact my office. Sincerely, Senator Keith Perry.
Okay. And for those who were not here at the last meeting, Sue and I went to Live Oak to Swan River. And there was five applicants, maybe, and we had two of them. So that's a good thing. And that was for
18.1 million.
very good. That would be a big thing for us if we could just get it through. So, next thing up is informational items. Cemetery committee meeting will be Wednesday, June the 5th, here at 3 p.m. Registration for deadline for Lee County Leadership Book Club is Friday, June the 7th. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, there's a letter in your packet. Looks like this is actually, I believe it was put together by Mary Ellen Harper, the PIO for the county. The featured book's going to be Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. And you're going to get a copy of the book. You pick it up at the end of June, and then they'll discuss it at the book club meeting on July 31st. So I think it's something new that the county's trying. So just want to make sure when you're back.
Next up is Water Special Board and Wastewater Cooperative Scoring Committee review meeting to develop a short list for consultant Presentations will be on Wednesday, June the 12th at 1 p.m. That also will be here. Davie County Flag Day ceremony is Friday, June the 14th at 9 a.m. and that is at the courthouse. Correct. That's flag. We have a public hearing for a small-scale future land use map amendment and rezoning of 945 East Hathaway Avenue. That is Monday, June the 17th at 5 p.m. That will also be here. Our next town council meeting is Monday, June the 17th at 6 p.m. here. The next Walker-South Water and Wastewater Cooperative Board meeting is Tuesday, June the 18th at 1 p.m. and that's in Cedar Key. Your bread of the Mighty Food Bank Mobile Food Drive is Friday, June the 28th at 9:30 at the James Golf Park. And your Democratic Executive Committee meeting is Saturday, June the 29th at 4 p.m. Is that here also? Here. Okay. And that's all I've got. So, turn it over to you.
That's a lot.
The Flag Day is at the government building, not the courthouse. Is that the government center?
At flags.
Yeah, not the courthouse, behind the annex.
Behind
It's the old school, it's at the
The
school.
courthouse is the courthouse.
John, you want to elaborate on that?
That's where it'll be, where the new flagpoles are at in front of the government center.
Straight from the horse. You want to do this now? Bruce, come on, talk to us. Before we get into all this other stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay getting all that other stuff. This is regarding the new pavement on Wilson Avenue. Glad to see it got done. When that grant was originally written, it was written to include the entire school, that entire road, to get full connectivity. And I guess I'm here tonight to find out what made it change. Because once I found out the grant was approved, and it was only going to do 0.75 miles, I knew it didn't include the entire road, so I made phone calls to every single person on this council, including the city manager. And what I said to you guys was, this is how you accomplish getting this entire road paved. And it would have cost $0 for you to do it. So I think somebody can help me out today and put my mind at ease by telling me why we didn't pursue it.
Well, I called the people that you said to call, and at that time, our grant had not gotten approved.
The
And
grant was approved.
yeah,
When I talked to you, the grant was approved, and I'm telling you why I know it was approved, because I saw that it only included 0.75 miles, which would have took it to the corner.
but we were not ready to go on the road at all. And when I called, I spoke to the representative that you gave me their information, and they were not handling this. That lady was not handling this.
And I don't want to get this way, all right? But I'm going to get this way because, this is a city that we don't have a whole lot. Our revenues are not very high. And you have an opportunity to get probably $500,000 worth of brand new improved infrastructure. And we turn it down because of what? I mean, the extra work wouldn't have been nothing but paperwork. A joint participation agreement with the county, and we'd have had a road that was paved all the way through with full connectivity. When we got 80th Street paved, it's 9 brand new houses on 80th Street right now. So you know what that means? That means the county's revenue increased. And the county commissioner probably can attest to that. So you got infrastructure in your city and an opportunity to improve it, and you should never squander those opportunities. Now, like I say, I told you when you first got this job, and I said, ma'am, I don't know you, but I'm going to give you some information that I feel like can help you. Do you not remember that call? I remember. I was on my food truck when I made the call. So it's frustrating to me because I talk to everybody. I ain't just talk to one. I talk to every single one of y'all about this.
And we did talk to the county county, and John can attest to that. I've talked to the county about paving the rest of the road.
No, That's not
Once-
it. What I'm saying
The
to you
grant
is,
didn't cover the entire road.
the grant was written to cover the entire road.
But-
Now, how it got changed, that's another question.
But I can tell you that the reason it got changed was because when the grant was approved was before me and Sue came in, am I correct?
It got approved, I think, the year we got here.
The year we got here, and then by the time we got to it, the goods had increased so much that grant would not cover paving.
Okay, so you make that phone call, that was said to me also. So you make that phone call and you ask for an increased scope. Now, when Biden passed the Build Back Better plan and other infrastructure plans, it made a whole lot more money available
other issue is
available
that-
to towns and counties in this state.
Part of that road is not our road, and we would have to.
Ma'am, listen, I'm talking to them, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
But right now, you have no idea, okay? You're right, half of that right of way belongs to the county, half of that right of way belongs to the city. A simple joint participation agreement would have got that entire road paid, and it would have been no money out of the pocket for the city or the county. All right, and I ain't just do this once. I think the commissioner can attest, I probably did about $40 million worth of this when I worked for the county. And I called to offer that up, because I couldn't make it happen, not in the position I was in. But I called to make that happen. And it's frustrating to me that a constituent can call you up with something like that that's at least $500,000. It's probably more time it gets done. And everybody is turning their nose up at it. And it's frustrating to me. I'm gonna leave it right there, but when you got constituents that can give you some information that can help, and I said to you, I'm doing this to help.
Of course.
Then
And we're,
at
we
least
spent no
follow
money
it
out of
through.
pocket, though, you understand that. So far, that is a grant.
No money,
to pay for what we
no
did
money
so
out of
far.
pocket for the entire road now, full connectivity.
Well, and we can now talk about that. Now that the road's done, we can talk about getting the remainder of it done. But we haven't spent any money out of pocket thus far either.
And as you follow through with what I said to do, you wouldn't have any money out of pocket, and it all would have been done already. That's what it did. So I'm gonna leave it there. I apologize if I got angry or sounded angry, but I'm not angry, but I am frustrated because it was too easy. All right, it was too easy. And you let opportunity stronger than opportunity. All right. No, I think that's it.
First up on my agenda is the fire chief contract. So as you may recall, when Mr. Russell was still here, we put a contract together for him. And again, you may recall back in the day, he was working, I believe he was getting, what was it, $900 a month originally when we first started?
Yeah. Oh, when we
When we
were.
first started, $900 a month, he was getting per call on top of that.
7 or 8.
He originally was getting 7, and then they gave him a raise.
And then he was getting paid for
Per call.
And then we stopped that.
So we stopped that, we changed it to $16,000 per year. This contract here for Mr. DiMaggio just mirrors the one we had for Mr. Russell, basically.
All right, any discussion on this?
Is he okay with it? Did he have any concerns about the contract?
It's fine with me.
I entertain a motion.
Move approval of fire chief contract for Mr. DiMaggio.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Mario's contract with the town of Bronson for fire chief. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same motion carries. We have a contract.
Okay, next up is 4th of July Festival movie selection. I put some in your packet, and all I basically did was went onto the website and typed in like the 4th of July celebration. This is what they came up with. Of course, you guys can do whatever you want, but this was what they said would be appropriate for a 4th of July celebration. I know, we could have the same conversation we do at Christmas time, but I know we want to come up with some sort of a movie. Of course, we are about literally 4 weeks away from the festival at this point, so we need to kind of make a decision here in the next, tonight or, yeah, probably tonight. Well,
Doing the movie night, the same night, we already signed up to have 3 movie nights, so we're gonna try to tie it to something where actually people show up to.
Vice Mayor Schultz, at the last meeting. We also do a movie night at the, so at this point, we've got the bounce house, we've got 6 food trucks, we've got entertainers lined up, some vendors, fireworks, which we're gonna talk about in a minute, and then movie. So it's gonna be a whole extravaganza, right?
Missed out at 4 o'clock.
Well, we can do, if you want to start earlier, we can. Last year we started at 6. But we could
You
start
got to
earlier.
figure the 4th of July is when people eat with their families, or their friends, or whoever to visit them. I mean, it's just, I mean, if you start before 4 o'clock, it seems like to me, I mean, if you eat at 12, 1, whatever, I mean, you're not going to be hungry no more. I mean, it don't make no sense to have something that starts before 4 o'clock, in my opinion.
Well, no,
She
we're
said
gonna
6
start
o'clock.
at 6.
She said
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
6 o'clock starts at 6 still, yeah, that'll be good.
Did anybody see anything on here that catches your eye?
So you're gonna,
What was the good ones on here?
the movie gonna be
After the fireworks.
after the fact.
Need to see it.
Will it be
So we do the fireworks at what, 9?
dark?
So, yeah,
Is everything on it?
I think the kids might like that.
Yeah.
Captain America. Captain America.
Yeah,
whatever y'all want to do.
It seems like the more
kind
appropriate.
of movie working,
Well, it's,
court.
I thought it might be something kids might be able to, I mean, it's all ages might do Captain America.
It's fine with me.
Me too.
I make a motion that we accept Captain America as the movie for 4th of July.
Got a motion and a second, any other discussion? Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same, motion carries.
All right, next up is the invoice from Zoom and Boom Fireworks for the firework display, and the total is $10,000. And again, this is going to be funded half by the fire department and half by the general fund. And it is budgeted.
Same thing we do every year.
Yeah, this is, when I talked to him, he pretty much mirrored everything that was last year, except changed the name of the fireworks that got changed.
So is this the same company as last year?
Same one who supplied the fireworks, yeah.
Jeff, you still good with handling all that stuff?
Yep, we'll get it this year. One more year.
Okay.
You made that very clear, one more year.
All right. Any motions?
Make a motion to approve the invoice for the 4th of July fireworks from Zoom and Boom Fireworks.
I second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor for July 4th fireworks. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same, motion carries.
All right, last up is town Bronson email addresses. So we've been having conversations, Nick and I, with Jeff about email for all of the firefighters, because of course, a lot of them are using their personal email addresses. And there's some concerns about, sunshine law and public records requests and all that stuff with using personal email addresses. Several, Vice Mayor Schuler and Councilor Voorhees both have an email address with the town of Bronson, and we're recommending that everybody have a town of Bronson email address moving forward. It would just be that more component. So Nick has agreed, if you guys are okay with that, that he would help you with the email on your phone or whatever you need to do. If you want to check it from your phone, you can certainly do it. But it would be your first name, last name at townbronson.org.
So ours won't change.
Yours will not change. We would just be adding it on for the other three that do not currently have one. And then again, we're doing the same thing for the firefighters. Everybody's going to have an email address through the town. Do you guys have a separate, like, how do you treat it on your phone right now? Do you have like a separate,
It pops
Yes.
up as,
It's on an app, yeah, it's on my phone.
separate app, right?
yeah, mine just pops up in my regular mail. I can choose if I want to go through town inbox or my regular inbox.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so I would give them the, for it.
Curtis.
Just look at some price and fixes.
Yeah.
So I will have a little more that I passed in last week.
Oh, it's in the packet.
This was another one I got, I didn't know, that second entrance down there by that goes straight to Main Street. I just had him put in this quote for putting a gate right there. I know that entrance never gets used, but I just had to put that in there, I didn't know that it ever would get used. But this is from, Inline Fence Services, he's out of Bronson. So I just got it, so we have another quote. This is for American Wire all the way around the thing, doing T-posts. You know, want a T-post, and the quote's $12,091.95. That'll do the whole cemetery.
We don't want the whole cemetery. I don't know, I tried to explain that to you before.
But for the
For the
purpose,
price of just doing that one side, this is the same price as doing the whole cemetery.
Oh,
$12,000 to do the whole cemetery versus $13,000 to do one side.
yes, from
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Same material.
and this
No.
one, when I read
But it
this,
don't make no sense to do the whole thing, then we're gonna leave it all.
They must not
no,
do any of it.
we do need the whole thing. We need the whole cemetery fence.
I really don't think the whole thing need to be done.
If we're gonna spend $12,000 on one side, why don't we spend $12,000 to do the whole thing?
I think while we have the opportunity, we should fence the whole cemetery.
I don't know why that don't make sense to none, because it makes sense.
I just said it makes sense to me.
Do the whole
Exactly. That's why I brought it up, that's why I got the quote.
And in the quote, when I read the quote, I actually liked the fact that it included, cleaning up the fence line also.
Yeah, that included
That was
moving the whole
included
fence.
into the quote, yeah, I read it, and I
Trimming up
thought
where
it was a good
the
quote.
thing, and I said on the one front side, I mean, most of it's gonna go exactly back where the existing fence is going. So,
And if, we need a heads up, and maybe some couplings or something ahead of time, just in case they pop one of them water lines.
yeah, they'll have all that. I showed them when I walked, I went out there and walked the whole thing with them, showed them there's 2 water spigots on that one side, close to the fence. He's like, it would break them all.
And we couldn't
Cap them off.
reuse that one gate,
3 water holes over there.
Could reuse it, what?
the spare gate. You know, it's a gate in the middle of nowhere out there.
Oh, on the back side,
Yeah,
way
you
back there,
couldn't
yeah.
use that?
I mean, we could, but if we're gonna do it, we might as well do it new. That way it looks good. And I don't even know if we needed that gate there. I just had him put that there because I didn't know if we'd ever use that entrance or not. So I just had him throw
See,
that
the
in.
problem about that is, if you put a gate up, and the undertaker has to go out there and dig a grave for somebody, somebody's gonna have to be out there and open
No,
the
we
gate.
talking about.
The
No, we talking about a different gate.
Oh, no,
No, the second
That was how he's talking about.
What gate you talking about?
For the second entrance that goes to Main Street down there, past where all the graves are.
Where Sheena, behind Sheena Bay's house, there's a gate down there.
That ain't no entrance, that's just a road.
But there's a gate down there.
Entrance.
And that's what he was talking about, whether we would need to keep that or whether we want to do it.
We can either put a gate there or we can go straight across. It's probably not gonna affect the price.
Probably gonna put a gate there.
I would recommend putting a gate just in case we ever needed to.
And it's the post up to where the gate could be put there.
You start using the other side,
Yeah.
you won't be able to go.
From all the way through there.
You're gonna have to go that way.
Yeah, and we can leave it padlocked till we ever need to use it.
Okay, pleasure of the council.
And I didn't get a time frame from him or what it would be, but I could get a time frame if I want, one time frame or what it would be, so. But I figured this was a decent quote to do the whole thing.
And you gonna
Everybody
clean everything.
Yes.
Taking the old fence out, disposing of the old fence, trimming up stuff that'll be in the way. He's not removing any big trees or anything like that.
Wood posts?
Those T-posts.
I know those T-posts.
That's what I'm saying, everybody know what T-post.
Yeah.
I was gonna get something to be like, what, what T-post, right? Just-
Yeah. Yeah, which I still do every so often. I have to do a wood post to keep the tension on the metal on the fence,
Yes.
but then the corner post. I
Is
have,
it possible that we could table this until we have a cemetery meeting, Wednesday? That we can get together as a committee, sit down and talk and discuss this prize, whatever. If that's okay with you.
Would you like me to put all the quotes together and bring everything forth that we've gotten for quotes for the cemetery so far?
So we got 2 quotes, right?
We've got 2 or 3.
2 or
I
3.
think it's three.
Yeah, put them on. I mean, if that's okay with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, while y'all are talking at the cemetery committee, I got wind that y'all needed some dirt at the cemetery, but nobody's ever come forth and made a formal request, so if y'all could add that to your agenda, to make a formal request for dirt from the county.
We'll do that Wednesday.
Okay,
We let you know about it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, if you're going to continue the matter that's on the agenda, it probably should be done by motion, just as.
I'm making a motion to table this till the next meeting.
All right, we have a motion, with a second. All those in favor of taking this to the next meeting, say aye.
Aye.
I have a question. What happens to the dirt that comes from the cemetery?
Whatever, you know.
The dirt,
They dig up.
when they dig up,
Yeah.
what do they do with the
Do
dirt?
some of it
They
buried,
put it back down. So, I mean,
rinse that all off, or level
they have to
out.
do it.
When they first did it, it was a lot of trees. So they took up all the trees, and then that dirt was soft.
Okay.
So every time it rained, that dirt
Okay.
just, it just get lower and lower and softer.
I was just
So, John has given us, I know a few loads.
The county.
Well, I think.
Don't put my name there.
The county, and then it still packs down, so you gotta keep adding more, so, but, until it get up there.
Okay.
When you do put a grave, it don't.
I was just wondering.
All right, I want to commend y'all on the speediness of fixing these repairs that we've had. For those who don't know, we've had a couple of water problems here lately, and they have been working diligently on that, the guys have. And, the crews have got the park and everything else looking real good, so all we need is shine right there, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
And speaking of that, what's the latest on the cameras?
They're still on.
Huh?
They're still on.
Okay.
Yeah, but Sue's not the person holding it up this time.
Actually, I need an iPad.
Okay.
They're in my office.
Yeah.
They're purchased.
I know that.
I know school is out, right?
I know that.
School is out.
We're gonna get it. We'll get it.
She's on the
We're
board.
waiting on something.
Right?
All right. Yeah. You got the podium, my friend. Don't scratch that interim fire chief thing off the bottom. Full time, I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's good. All right, well, I know there's been some concern, we had some problems in the past with people with running red lights and things like that, and driving all crazy. I went through and updated the guidelines that we had on there to fairly general. So just trying to clarify what they can and cannot do, and who can and who cannot. So we have only certified people running emergencies with red lights and sirens. I also included two of the statutes that cover that. And if you look at 316-2398, down at the section 5, the violation, if somebody's running around doing stuff they're not supposed to, they're automatically by law thrown off the department. It doesn't have to come from y'all, it doesn't have to come from me, it's part of the state rule. So this helps ensure people will be following the rules. And part of the thing is when they get their a certified letter from me saying they can run one, they also have to have a copy of the statute with them. So if they're ever stopped, they can't say they didn't know what the rules were. That's all in the rules. So I'm just trying to clarify that so we can get past that point and know that we're addressing those issues. And hopefully what I have written on the policy covers everything that you all need. So if you have any comments, changes, additions, subtractions, whatever, and let me know. It's still just draft form. I just want to run it by you guys to see what you think. So hopefully that will tone that down a little bit and we won't have more issues.
Jeff, how many people have them right now, the red light card?
There's only a small number. I have not given any out since I've been here.
So just who have them from?
If you had them before, and because they don't have everything that is required by statute, in addition to that card, the cards aren't valid anyway. Unless they've already got issued. So, hopefully you all think I am too wrong with that. And like I said, we did just do a emergency vehicle operations class, so we've got folks that are certified to the current standard. They all know what the rules are, we went through everything, so hopefully those that will be responding are firefighter 1s and 2s and things like that. We'll all be doing good in our parked vehicles, and if they're responding directly to the scene, if we so desire to allow them to do that, then we'll be able to have red lights there too for safety for them getting to the scene. Now, red lights only mean that they can request a right of way. Folks do not have to give right of way to a volunteer fire department, non-emergency vehicle. They're going to the personal vehicle red light. They're still just requesting use of them to go through. People don't want to move. Nothing can be done. They have to just sit and ride and traffic. So, I'll make sure it goes clear on what the laws are. Everybody good?
You got your sign up?
Got your sign up?
Yep, signs up, paper boxes in the wall. We're getting ready to sign, hopefully, the agreement on the monitoring system. So we'll begin that testing shortly.
I read by there, and I couldn't help but notice, it says no deposit and testing only at this time.
Right.
So, on the baby box, so,
Right.
I was just wondering.
Once the alarm is set up, it has to be tested for 7 consecutive days to ensure it passes before we can actually put it into use. And that's when we'll set up the final blessing for it and everything like that. So we've been working with Nick to get a company lined up for that. It's going to cost a little bit up front to get things set up, but the cheapest one we have is over $2,000. And that's utilizing the company that does our fire alarm system in the building already. So it's just adding to that. But it should not change our monthly subscription fees or anything like that. Another thing I have is kind of update on what we did this past month. Excuse me. We had a total of 108 calls. We had 64 EMS calls, 20 fire-related calls, and 13 were canceled en route, and 2 that were errors in dispatch, where they were right on the county line, was actually other responses. No missing reports again this month. So keeping on track and moving forward. So that's really all I have.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr.
Oh,
Warren.
I guess I should.
All right.
You got any comments, sir?
It falls to me to give a couple of reports. I wrote these up in detail, as I promised that I would at the last meeting. So rather than try to rephrase it, let me just read you what I wrote. All right, the first thing is the cocaine solution, which I know is a matter of some concern to a lot of people. Here is what I determined. It says, excuse me, I've looked into the matter of this alleged long-standing and muchly debated violation. It would appear that in 2007, a house on the property in question was destroyed by fire. Several years later, in 2011, a violation notice was issued to the occupant, Ms. Cookenzie, respondent, for living in an RV on the property, a clear violation of land use regulations. In response to the violation notice, the respondent appeared before the council, pleaded her case for leniency and/or exemption, and was given 1 year to come into conformity. The matter was apparently not followed up, at least officially, and it wasn't until 2024, when the old RV was replaced by another, that a violation was once again issued and the matter brought before the code enforcement board. The board was apparently loath to take any adverse action and, in effect, punted to the town council, which heard the history and the pleas of the respondent based on personal hardship and a claim to be grandfathered in, and claims to have been told that she could perpetuate the status quo. It's clear that there was a violation in 2007, a recognized violation in 2011, and a failure to correct or remove the violation right up to 2024, despite having only 1 year from 2011 to do so. The idea that it was lawful to replace the old RV with a new one that still did not and does not conform to regulations by virtue of grandfathering is a classic example of what they call begging the question. You can't grandfather in something that was always unlawful, and using that terminology does not alter the reality. The Code Enforcement Board heard the case and chose to take no action, apparently persuaded that the respondent's unfortunate circumstances and sympathetic situation entitled her to a dispensation from the applicable standards. As poignant as that might be, the law does not bend in that direction, nor do the claims to various statements of acceptance or encouragement alleged to have been received over the course of years. Unless there was something concrete and unambiguous in the record to reflect that someone in authority granted some sort of immunity, there is no viable claim to an estoppel. The law applies, and the existing RV used as a dwelling is a violation subject to correction. Even were we to assume that the existing use had somehow ascended to the level of a lawful non-conforming situation, the law regarding non-conforming uses is that they are temporary and always yield to conformity to regulation, so that they cannot be replaced or reinstituted once they terminate. The destruction by fire of the previous RV would terminate the use, annul the nonconformity, and mandate compliance with existing standards, all other considerations aside. Ordinance 21-04, which prohibits occupancy of vehicles in certain circumstances, is also tangentially involved and represents what would appear to be another violation. Any claim that the condition complained of pre-existed this ordinance and was thus unaffected presumes incorrectly that the use was lawful, which it was not at the time the ordinance was passed. The ordinance, moreover, is an exercise of the police power rather than land use authority per se, and arguably at least not subject to any sort of grandfathering, even were that concept to apply. The last question to be dealt with is whether what clearly appears to be a continuing unabated land use violation was immunized by the inaction of the Code Enforcement Board. The board is an arm of town government designed to deal with code violations, but the town, by creating such a board, does not surrender its authority or its obligation to see to it that its ordinances are enforced. The town has the ability to act contrary to the Code Enforcement Board where circumstances warrant, and to step in accordingly so long as all safeguards and notice provisions are complied with. The history before the Code Enforcement Board shows a deferral on February 28, 2024, and a determination on March 27, 2024, that there is no violation, quote, due to the lack of follow-up on the part of the town council, unquote. How the asserted lack of follow-up could negate the existence of a violation is not articulated, but it is a safe assumption that it could not. Read as sympathetically as possible, this determination by the board would throw the matter back to the council for whatever follow-up was deemed to have been lacking. The council accepted it as such and is now undertaking the necessary action on its part to deal with what remains an unambiguous, unrelieved, and indefensible code violation to all appearances. It is, to all appearances, a very sympathetic and unenviable situation, but it is also a clear violation that calls for remediation. The ordinance that governs allows the Code Enforcement Board to mitigate monetary penalties where they perceive circumstances that warrant it, but they cannot go the next step and condone the violation, however tempting it might be, to invoke a would-be Solomonic solution. What I'm saying, and what would seem to be the most viable thing to do on the part of the council, would be refer the matter back to the Code Enforcement Board for enforcement and recognize that the Code Enforcement Board has the ability under that ordinance to mitigate any penalty, to impose a penalty or to impose no penalty, and to set forth a time in which the remediation has to take place. That is what it seems to me would be the appropriate result of this. All the talk, and it's understandable about hardship and sympathy and response to a very compelling and poignant situation, is all understandable, but it does not alter what the law requires. There's no room, there's no ability to exercise that kind of leniency just out of sympathy or empathy. The law is the law. That's what I was able to do.
So we need to refer it back to the code enforcement board.
That's what I did.
And who is on the code enforcement board?
Council Borges, Ms. B, Kyle Durden, David White, Natalie Thomas, and Mark Chiso.
So they have to determine this, because see, what I'm hearing is that, they, in the beginning, she was grandfathered in. This was, I think, 17 years ago. But now what we're doing, look back to me, is changing a lot.
We're not changing a law. The circumstance changed. The complaint was made because the circumstance changed.
Okay, you know, two things. On her, and I'm not gonna leave Mr. Greenlee out. Now you might be able to understand why things gonna be done, but they don't understand. You know. Back with Ms. Tony. Now, you're saying that the code enforcement board, you turning it over to them. So they are the one that has to decide what she said, look.
Not whether there's a violation. That has been decided. They have to decide what to do about it.
Not a violation.
We don't want to deprive them of their authority. But they kicked it up to the town council when they said that the town council hadn't followed it up. Well, they've now followed it up.
Who come up with $1,300?
It's in the ordinance.
The city.
It's in the chapter of the ordinance. Actually, it's the maximum is 250. But again, they have the authority to suspend that tax.
That is the sole purpose for sending it back.
Okay.
So, right now, my code enforcement board has to make the decision. Not you.
About penalties.
About the penalty, Elijah.
There is a violation, and the violation at some point has got to be remedied. But as far as penalties are concerned, that is in the province of the Code Enforcement Board to impose a penalty, suspend it, modify it, whatever they choose to do.
Well, here again, what they did 17 years ago meant nothing.
There was no Code Enforcement Board 17 years ago.
We've only had a code enforcement board for 2 years.
Let me ask you this, because you know what I'm saying. Didn't you say that at that time you all did allow her to stay? Yeah.
When I was on the council?
Yeah.
Yes, we allowed her to stay there. But he's saying now, you know, in 2024, they're adopted a new land development, so it's a violation because she moved out one and moved on here. And the only thing the code enforcers can do is, if I'm understanding it right, is to set the price, the penalty that she would have to pay. We can't.
Or suspend it.
Huh?
Or suspend it,
Right.
not take it.
Yeah. At a time.
In the top.
They can give
We
it time,
can't determine that.
but not indefinitely.
Yeah, they have to.
So it'll be some time on that, then, right?
Pardon me?
It'll be some time that we do that, right?
That's up to them.
I don't know, we'd have to have a meeting.
That's up to the code enforcement.
Right, it's up to them, I'm on that. When y'all gonna meet?
We don't have one scheduled, but schedule one right now.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say that at that previous meeting, it was decided by the board that it was okay, and that she relied upon that, and that there was no finding of a violation at that time, and that she relied upon that. So that puts her in a really difficult situation. And if these fifth wheelers are, I mean, it's good as any single wide mobile home, and it looks good. It adds to the neighborhood. I don't understand what the problem is.
They don't use it.
No, they
Worry about somebody flipping somebody today. Somebody gonna see somebody.
Mr. Mayor, what do we do?
We need to make a motion to refer it back to the judge, to the code enforcement. If we said we need more, we can.
That's what Attorney Warren recommends.
That's what he's recommending.
I would recommend a motion to remand it to the code enforcement board to determine whether a penalty should be imposed and or suspended, and to allot a reasonable amount of time for compliance before any further penalty is imposed.
Doesn't that presuppose some things? Doesn't that presuppose some things, right? I mean, we're kind of presupposing, has there been a finding of violation as of yet?
Yes.
And the March meeting wherein she was told everything was fine,
From a board that is just to determine whether or not there is a violation.
they decided
That's the only thing that there was.
correct?
They decided there was not, and then they sent it up to us, who has the final say.
And they decided it worked.
And the majority here.
And
said
our
that there was
code,
violation.
our code says that there is, and we have to abide by that. By ours.
I just want to say something. When my home burnt down in 2007, this big, that was for a fact, burnt down. It cost me $3,500, 8 truckloads to take it to the dump. I paid it out of the insurance, okay? I went down to town hall. This is for any law enforcement or code enforcement or anything was there, okay? I went before them and they said, I said, I can't afford a brand new double wide. I got a camper. I spent $3,500 for the camper. So it was okay. I lived in it 17 and a half years. Nobody ever said anything. And when you came on my porch that day and talked to me, okay, and you told me, you says, Tony, the person that turns you in can sue the town hall. Well, you know what? Let me say something. I have rights too, and I can also cross-sue. But he has no right. He has no right. I've got a beautiful place. I'm cleaning it up. It's very nice in my neighborhood. I don't know what the name of the good Lord Joe are trying to do to me. Look around town. Look around town at people that live in squalor.
And what did I tell you that day when we sit there?
You told me it was a county issue.
No, I did not.
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
I did.
Yes, you did.
I told her, and I sat there and I told her straight to her face, I said, Miss Tony, this is not me wanting to do this.
That's exactly what you said.
I don't want to do this. I do not want to treat the
I don't want you to do it either.
You have the ability to fix it.
Do what?
Don't you have the ability to fix it?
No, ma'am. How can I do, the only way you can do this is change that law, okay? And to do that, then we're talking about a process here that I know will not happen. And the reason why we did that, that Bronson would be done with one big RV park.
No, that's not what it is, that's what it is.
Okay? So, what I am saying is this, there is a code, we have to go by. I have brought that to your attention. The only reason that nobody, and it's gone on for 17 years, is because everybody gets along fine with you, you know, I said, you're.
Well, yeah, I've been there 41 years.
I personally would not turn you in. I didn't, and I had the authority to do that, but I didn't. But somebody else did come along, and we have to apply.
Well, I know who it was.
I know you do. So, it's public record, and I mean, it is what it is.
And he don't
I
live
cannot-
here, Mr. Cleary,
I
that guy
cannot-
don't even live here.
I cannot change the facts.
I understand that, Robert. I understand all that. But since all this happened in my life, we didn't have code enforcement back then. Why did we have that? Why, when you changed the code enforcement, did you not send me a letter to that fact?
That code was there then. That's why they told you what they did.
No, the code came out, from what I understand, 2011. This is 2024.
Because nobody complained, is what I was.
Nobody complained.
That's the old thing right
Because
now.
nobody would complain. I mean, you don't bother nobody. You mind
I don't bother anybody.
17 years, we have let this go along, and that's the reason why, is because nobody wanted to complain about your situation. They wanted you to live your life just as so.
Well, I'm trying to still live it.
Same way. Now somebody has come and complained, used the code, and used it as their, quote, reason for that, and then we have to comply to it. Okay? Plain and simple.
I'd like to address Attorney Warren. And I'd like to say that, you know, a $22,000 brand new fifth wheel is what they call them. It's like a permanent.
Well, it's not a fifth wheel, it's a tag-along.
It's a tag-along, whatever they call them. You know, for $22,000, you know, that's a lot of housing. And I see, you know, when you have disabilities and when you're elderly, you know, and you're on Social Security, and you're trying to think about what am I going to do, it seems like that there could be a special exception made for this woman. And I dare you to go out to that property and look at it as I did, walk in it, see the incredible cleanliness and order and beauty that she's made of that place with what little she had. And when we start cracking down on, I mean, it's no wonder we've got homeless people. It's just wrong. So I ask that some type of special exception be mounted for this particular type of problem. The law is not meant to be cruel. It's meant to be just.
Sometimes in the process of being just, there's unavoidable cruelty, if you want to use that word. But more importantly, there's no provision in the law for a special exception for circumstances like this. It just doesn't exist. Much as everybody wants to repeat something that would trigger something like that, and I understand it completely, it isn't there, and I can't listen to it. You going to say the same thing again?
John, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I'm asking, and I'm here as a citizen, not here as commissioner, not trying to peddle influence or anything like that. But you do know, we all know that we have a housing crisis everywhere in Florida. It's not just in Levy County, it's not just in Bronson. And that we all should be encouraged to revisit our codes and our rules and things that we allow and we don't allow. And I see all sides of this argument. My question is simply, is there a guideline or are there any recommendations for what a penalty should be from the Code Enforcement Board? Or is there?
It says they have $0 to $250.
So it's their discretion. They can fine whatever they choose, and they can impose
up to $250 a day.
But no, they can impose compliance at whatever their leisure or whatever they choose. Their discretion. There's a good word. So the code compliance board could remedy this problem, and thus hold this board.
If we accept it.
Hold this board, make it where y'all are not accountable.
Well, they don't have the authority
Keep their
to say
recommendation.
you never have to remedy this violation.
Well,
They
I
can give her
understand.
90 days, they can give her, more of that. But, if they say 10 years, it's not going to fly.
I don't think 10 years would be applicable.
Well, you know what I'm
So,
saying.
John, I'm not trying to put you in the spot or anybody else. But if we stepped across that line and went to the county with this same scenario, and I dare say that we would have the exact same repercussion.
Well,
You cannot.
I figured that was going to come up. So
You
my
cannot-
answer to that question or that comment would be is we would have never granted any sort of an exemption to begin with.
Exactly.
But because that was done, now you have created a different set of rules to play by. If it was in the county and it came to code enforcement, there is no provision in the county where we say, we're gonna let you go for 3 years and then we'll revisit it. It's either yay or nay. So, not throwing shade or blame at anybody who was involved in any of this decision making. The council at the time made a decision based on the facts that they were dealing with. Whether there was a code in place, whether the code was being enforced or not, doesn't come into play. The council made a decision. The county does not take that discretion to make those decisions. That decision would have been made by our code enforcement officer, which the town did not have at the time. So that you really are comparing apples and oranges. But you are correct. If this was in the county, it would have never been permissible. So we wouldn't have went into this process of
And I've checked with the state. I heard that the state has come up with some, there was a comment of that made at the last meeting about the state has changed some rule, and that is not true. John?
Robert, who puts the time frame on there? I heard the attorney say 10 years wouldn't work, but also I heard a time frame. So who puts the time frame on?
Code Enforcement Board.
And you have the ability to put whatever time frame you want.
Within reason.
What's reason?
90 days.
That's up to them.
That's what so it's up to them to say what reason is, and it's up to them to say how long.
But we have to have the majority to kick it back.
But I'm asking those questions. It's up to them to say what reason is. It's up to them to say the time frame.
And the amount.
Correct?
And fine.
And fine.
If any.
I'm just pointing out something. Okay. Yes, thank you.
Question.
And that is by. As asked us to do. So, any other further discussion?
He recommends kicking that back to Code Enforcement Board, and that's what we'll do.
Second.
We'll make a motion.
Motion has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carries.
Schedule a Code Enforcement Board meeting right now.
Okay.
I don't have my calendar in front of me.
I get it on the phone. Let's figure it out.
I don't have that. I have to coordinate with Mike, coordinate with Norm. Somebody send me next month.
Is our 90 days gonna run out in that time?
It was.
It runs out at the end of July.
Happy weekend, you started to that. You can't start it until after the weekend, for 90 days. If that were what they would, I mean, whatever they decide, it won't start until after the meeting. Oh.
That's what I was trying to say. We need to
Oh,
use
right,
90 days.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure it's within the original. July 27th is the original 90 days, so definitely before July.
John?
Who imposed the 90 days? The code enforcement board or this board?
It's in there. It's in the code. I think it is, right?
Wait, what was the question, John?
Who, the 90 days that you're referring to, is it imposed by this council or by the code enforcement?
It was
board?
imposed by this council several meetings ago.
Okay, well then this council could, I'm not telling you, again, not peddling influence, not trying to run y'all's meetings, but y'all could vote to suspend the 90 days until this matter is resolved. If you're worried about that, I'm just saying.
I make a motion to suspend the 90 days till it's back to the Code Enforcement Board.
I second.
Thank you, John. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those, any other discussion on that? This is the defer the 90 days.
Good luck, Ms. Tony.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same motion. Okay.
Sue, make sure you have proper notice of the meeting.
Thank you. I haven't checked my email.
Thanks, Ron.
Now, Wilson Avenue, we just gonna squeeze on the road, right?
What would you like us to do, Mr. Elijah?
Fix it like we told you, supposed to be fixed.
Mr. Elijah? when we went, based on the information that was processed to us on this, and the amount of money that we had, we didn't even have enough money to pave that 7/10 of a mile, or whatever it was. We had to go back to the Department of Transportation. They had to redo this whole thing over again because based solely on the cost of asphalt and what it costs to do that. I would love to have been able to do this, but we never did get anywhere. And like I said, I will take any type of help that we can get from all this stuff. And I know I've talked to John about that thing on numerous occasions, and what we could do as far as joining in with the county and completing the job, and that's still in the process, I understand. Correct, John?
Yes, we need a formal discourse,
Right.
to say.
And
This benefits
that's
the
the
county
action
as well as the city.
The grant was for X amount of money, of which I cannot remember.
It was around $350,000, and we had to request over $200,000 more.
It was almost double what the original grant was for.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I mean, and because that means, I'm gonna be honest, and I don't want to sound blunt. It means zero to me because when I called you guys, I told you exactly what you needed to do in order to make that happen. And nobody did it. I don't care if you say you called up there, you ain't called and talked to anybody about what you needed to do because when the infrastructure bills passed, so much more money came into the state of Florida for infrastructure improvements for cities just like this one that don't have a lot. So all you had to do was make the phone calls, talk to the right people, and I can assure you, I have had Kim Evans call me when I worked for the road department and say, Bruce, we got spillover money. Do you have a road that we can pave in Levy County? So don't do that because that's not the case. All you had to do was make the phone calls, and I promise you, the state would have got that money to you because of the status of this town. So let's just say, okay, if the town and the county working together now, that's great. But we can save all that other stuff because that's not the case. I did it for a long time, and it's a ton of money came through Levy County because of me. I'm not taking any credit for anything, but please don't do that because just say we're gonna work together and make it happen. Just leave it like that because all this other stuff to everybody else it means nothing. But to me, it means a ton because I did it for a long time. And I'm sorry I sound this way, but it's just frustration because I called every single member of that council, this council, except for you. And I want to say that to you right now. I talked to you after the fact. I never talked to you before the fact. So I didn't want to throw you in the pile, but I talked to everybody on this council.
I did.
I'm sorry.
And
Okay.
she was not over this.
I
This
know,
was
but
not her.
somebody's over it, man.
Yes,
So
but it wasn't
the question
her.
is, who do I need to
It wasn't
talk to?
I called.
Yeah. Okay. I'm done with it, man. It is what it is. I hope the county and the city can get together.
Well,
and
we
make
could,
something happen.
if there's any way that this could possibly be moved forward, I mean, I'm welcome to looking into something like that. I mean, we've discussed this at length, to do a continuation of that. That's another discussion another day, of course, but I don't have all my facts in line right now either.
It has been on, I have a list of Mayor Parton's priorities, and it has been on that list on my board in my office for several years now. And again, just like Mayor Parton said, I know he has, and I know I have spoken with Commissioner Weeks about this several times.
And we have, and I'll tell you this, I mean, I'll own up to this. I don't know all the whistles and bells and all the shortcuts and everything that everybody does, okay? And, I mean, when a person such as yourself, Bruce, that does it on a day-to-day basis, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your knowledge and everything, and like I say, if I had some of your knowledge on this, I probably could have done a better
Yo,
job.
I was on the phone with you. I gave you everything you needed, man.
But that still doesn't, I talk to doctors all the time too, but that's not gonna make me a surgeon, I promise you.
It's not surgery.
Or a pilot, either one, so I just, there's some of this stuff that it gets beyond me, so. And if I drop the ball, I apologize. So, yeah.
We'll work with the county. Let's leave it at that and move on.
Well, hold on. If I make a formal request at the meeting tomorrow, is that early enough in the budget season, or are we too far down the rabbit hole for
You
this
need to
year?
make a request to the road department first,
To the road department first?
to Alice.
Okay.
Start there, and then come to us. But what Bruce is telling you is that there was an agreement that could have been signed that would have gotten funding from the state level or the federal level, wherever y'all got that money from. That could have been done, and all we had to do was sign a paper. Not throwing people under the bus, but the only discussion I remember having was asking would the county be interested in doing the work to try to save money? And we found out we couldn't do that.
Correct.
We can't bid against private contractors. But as far as the rest of it, whenever the funding wasn't there, county didn't have the money to do it, but that money could have been achieved different, or could have been brought a different way.
All right.
And at that point, we could talk about our responsibility and y'all's responsibility. But we're always open to discuss getting that done, because Bruce is correct. That, and I'm wearing my commissioner hat now, that everywhere you pave the roads, new houses get built.
Without
And that helps increase revenue for everybody.
we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Not to mention the traffic that paving 80th brings into the community that was going to Williston or to Archer, because they weren't able to come this way conveniently.
Thank you for your input. Bruce, thank you for your input, and we will try to move forward on this and make better decisions next week. All right, Mr. Moore?
All right, time for my power tone again. Okay. This is the report on the issue about the selection of mayor, going back to the May 6th meeting. All right, here's the letter that I wrote, which hopefully is an exhaustive analysis. I have studied the selection of mayor issue that has arisen from every angle possible and done some research for precedent and/or guidance as to the applicable law. There are arguments, persuasive ones, for different approaches and different assumed results, but nothing that clearly mandates one result or the other. It is something that would have to be resolved judicially for clarity and for certainty. On the one hand, the selection is required by ordinance to be made at the first meeting in May. At that meeting, there were repeated deadlocks, so no mayor was able to be named. The mayor in office, by long-standing principle and practice, stays in office until a successor is established. The date for selection of a mayor having come and gone with no new mayor named, does the serving mayor remain in office for the ensuing year? Question mark. If not, in the absence of any provision of law or ordinance for dealing with the situation, anything from continued election, from meeting to meeting, or even the flip of a coin, what happens? There is a principle that when an incumbent remains in office until a successor is chosen, that is not a new term of office, just a pro tem status. But there is also a principle that once a vote is taken, the matter cannot be brought up again and again in an effort to obtain a different result, which, if either principle applies, cannot be stated with any degree of certainty. There is also the issue of Councilman Schuler's inability to be present at the May 6th meeting, leaving only 4 members to vote with a resultant tie. Does this factor militate in favor of another election at a subsequent meeting where all members are present? Or does the rule against multiple reconsiderations of actions taken govern? There is no clear basis to make that call. As town attorney, my place is to advise as effectively and accurately as I can, but not to make decisions that involve discretionary conclusions. It would be presumptuous of me to pick a side in this controversy in the absence of any certainty that my decision was on firm ground. That is the province of the judiciary, and my advice in this matter is to seek a declaratory judgment of the court where both sides can make their cases and the binding result obtained, and it's signed respectfully. In other words, what I'm saying is, if the law was clear, I would tell you the law, it's my job. But if the law is unclear, it shouldn't fall to me to make, I wasn't elected to make a decision that who should be mayor and who can be mayor. It's something that should be decided judicially. That's all I can come up with. Anything else I say, I would be subject to criticism because somebody could challenge it and I could not necessarily defend it accurately. In other words, God forbid, you're going to hear a lawyer saying something a lawyer should never say. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I could argue either side, that's what we're trained for. But to give you a definitive, categorical answer, no. And my answer wouldn't be binding on anybody anyway. The only binding answer comes from the judge. So that's what I'm suggesting to resolve the problem.
So what do you suggest, Mr. Moore?
The filing of what they call a declaratory judgment action, where you say there was a controversy and we don't have an answer and we're asking you, Judge, to resolve the matter. And both sides, assuming that there are sides, would have the right to present their arguments to the judge, and the judge would make the call. Nobody else has the authority, other than the results of an election, but we saw what happened there. And we don't know if an election is warranted or not. Nobody but a court has the actual authority to make a binding decision.
According to the charter which we serve under, it says all 5 members of the council have a right to have a vote to who be the mayor.
It doesn't really say it in that way. I understand what you're
But
saying.
that's basically what it says.
Well,
It might not say it that way, but it's basically what it says.
That's the argument that
There's no argument about it when it's in that black and white. What argument?
because the charter and the ordinance also says that the mayor shall be selected at the first meeting in May on May 6th. That meeting took place and the mayor wasn't selected. Then there's a rule that the mayor...
No, the charter don't say nothing about no May the 6th. It don't say nothing like that. Because the election, actually, if you're gonna go by the charter, the election is supposed to be in September.
We changed that.
You can't change it.
Yeah, you can.
You don't, the council don't have no right to
No, you
change it. The
can't.
people, the electors is the one that changes it. Not the council, but the
I
elect.
can't argue when you make a statement as though there was no possible reputation. The truth of it is that by ordinance, by state law, the ordinance can change election dates and election matters. We adopted an ordinance a few years ago, and it clearly says that the mayor shall be selected on May 6th. That much you could take. I'm not
Not
saying
that
that you
specific
don't
date.
have an argument. You got a lot of arguments, and you got some good ones. I'm not saying you don't, but it's not conclusive.
It doesn't say May 6th specifically, it's the first meeting
It
in
says
May.
first meeting in May.
Yeah, so-
Yeah. That's what was supposed to happen. Again, the fact that you were out and the reason you were out and so forth, those are all arguments. If you've got a case, there's no question about that. If you want to argue that
See, what you're
there should be
saying,
another election.
I really understand what you're saying, but it's other circumstances that make that be like in the wind. Because I'm telling you why, Mr. Warren, it's not right the way things are going. You just can't keep pulling for straws just because you don't want to give up being the mayor. And that's what it seems like is happening. It seems like circumstances happen to keep the vote. The most simplest thing to me would be, like I asked you, to table it until I came back. You say I couldn't vote. You went to change. You changed that all the way around. You mixed that all the way up. And then now you saying that what we should do is just let it keep riding, let it ride. That's not fair.
I'm saying you should get a judicial determination. That way there would be certain...
The most simplest thing is to do is just have a vote for mayor and vote. And that'll be the end of it. You don't have to worry
That
about
would be the simplest.
reading on book and all that other stuff.
It's not up to me to say that you can't, but what I'm saying is, it would be challenged anyway, and ultimately, it would probably wind up in court, and probably the safest and quickest way to resolve it is get it in court right away and get an answer. And that answer would be definitive, and you may well be supported.
I mean,
In what you're saying. There's arguments on both sides.
I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. That's good. You came up with that. But that's not, you can't go by, you can't go by the charter and then not go by it, cause you don't wanna go by it. That's not right.
We're not
You
talking about the
gotta
charter.
do, the charter says each one of us has a vote. That's what the charter says. Now, I don't know where you come up with your, logic from, Addison Jerry or wherever. I mean, to me, it don't make no sense when you can just have a vote and the whole issue would be dead.
I understand what you're saying.
We're following the
We could
ordinance.
debate it indefinitely, but it's, and.
We went strictly by the
I'm not in a position to say you're wrong.
If we went strictly by the charter, we wouldn't do any of half the stuff we do. We wouldn't have a fire department because the fire chief ain't in the charter. The town manager ain't in the charter. We wouldn't do half the stuff we have if we followed the charter. But we follow ordinances as
More to the
well.
point, there's a specific detailed ordinance on elections that we adopted 2 or 3 years ago. And by state statute, that ordinance on elections can supersede or alter what's in the charter.
So, Mr. Warren, if you get ready to, I know you're a law person. Okay, now, if you get ready to amend the charter, that's what you really be doing. Who votes on the amendments in the charter? The electors, right? Is I'm right or wrong?
Except in certain areas where the state statute says that you can adopt an ordinance that will modify the provisions of the charter. I'm telling you, that's what's there.
I ain't never seen that. What is that? Tell me what is that, so I can read it from home.
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I'll tell you tomorrow morning. You got a deal.
I'm gonna give you my phone number so you can call it here. Now, I definitely be home.
No problem.
Because
I mean,
it's not, it don't make no sense to have an issue when it's really no issue. That's what I'm saying. This is really no issue.
Why don't we resolve at least this much of it by me giving you that
But see, the thing about it.
If I can't do it, then.
Okay, I'm good with that. But what I just want to say this. If I had been allowed to vote, even though I was home under the doctor's care with a doctor's permit, a note saying that I'm not supposed to be moving around on my foot. Okay, now what I supposed to do? Come and violate what the doctor says just to be here?
That's a different issue.
But see, then it come up when they know that I was gonna have a chance to vote. They just rule me out and say, well, you ain't here, you on Zoom, you can't vote.
But that's what the council did, but remember something, I didn't make that rule.
I ain't saying you did.
I asked the Attorney General to give us an opinion as to the voting situation, and what they said was that as long as there's a quorum here, that quorum decides whether the person who's appearing electronically can or cannot vote, and that's what they did. So again, you're putting it to me, but it wasn't my decision. My decision was, let's see what the Attorney General said. And we've got it in writing, what the Attorney General said. The Attorney General did not say.
Are you saying that we can't have a vote now? Are you saying that, or what? You and the Attorney General saying that?
I am saying that it is uncertain that any vote you took at this point would have any validity. And that the likelihood is that the result of it, whatever the result was, would wind up in court. And so I'm recommending.
Well, as long as we do what we supposed to do, let it not wind up in court. I really don't see what the issue is.
I see an issue wasting taxpayer money going to court over choosing the damn mayor.
How long would a declaratory judgment, is what you're suggesting, how long does that take?
Realistically, a couple months. Doesn't happen overnight.
So by that time, we'll have an election, by the time it happens. Yeah, we will have an election in April.
Next April.
Yeah.
I don't think it would take
9 years.
Especially simple issues. But it's hard to say. It depends on the calendars, it depends on the judge and so forth and so on. It's a very, very different situation, the whole thing. There's no question about it. And it's sensitive, and I understand.
To me, maybe I'm just way out there, but it don't make no sense to me to make an issue out of no issue. That's what I'm saying.
Why y'all can't vote now?
That's what I'm saying. What's wrong with now? Why we can't vote now? I'm here now. I ain't got to be on Zoom.
Right.
I'm in live. I'm live.
Yeah, sure will. Wide open.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You real?
Yeah, man. There you go.
See, I mean.
If y'all decide to do that, throw every other ordinance we've had and throw it out the window.
Well, that'd be good, but ain't not no good.
Just take a vote.
Ain't none of them no good? I'll remember that. I'll remember that.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
When you play the game, you play the game by the rules. You don't make up the rules.
We did play the game by the rules. We're following the ordinance that we said that we choose the mayor the first meeting in May.
But so, I mean, you didn't do it, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Who is it?
There was no vote received for a new mayor, so the existing mayor stays in office.
I mean,
Can
what
I say
says
something?
that, first of all, whenever a vote comes up for the mayor steps down. He's not the mayor no more.
That's what I was gonna say. Let me say something. When each year, council choose a mayor. Okay, you start a meeting, and then you end that meeting. Nobody is mayor, nobody's vice mayor. Everybody is a council member. So there is no mayor.
Right.
So when you vote, you're voting a mayor and a vice mayor. So at the time, there is no mayor. So that part, when you say that, nobody actually steps in. And to me,
That's
it
going off what
don't,
I-
it don't matter who's mayor.
Yes,
Because all I ever wanted was what was best for the people of Bronson. I never wanted the title.
Ms.
But
B, in fairness, what the
I
ordinance-
just wanted what was best for
What's
the
best for the
town.
Tila Bronson, not
And
for
I
the
don't know why
taxpayer
the
money.
title
what the ordinance says is that the mayor who's in office stays in office until his successor is chosen and qualified.
That's what the ordinance says.
That's what every ordinance says.
But no mayor is.
So that you're never left without a mayor, even if there's some aperture, some gap.
What you gonna do?
Nothing.
How about we appoint you mayor, Elijah?
I would love not to be.
All right. Committee reports.
Before we do that, can I make a motion that we ask for a declaratory judgment so we can fix whatever needs to be fixed and we don't have to spend 16 meetings over this in the future?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, what's your motion here?
I motion that we get this declaratory judgment so we can fix whatever needs to be fixed and not have to keep having this discussion over and over. So we're asking for the judgment. That seems like at the only point, that's not gonna be contested one way or the other. Once if that's final, is there anything else that we can do?
No. No. We sleep too much on the table.
Seems to me that we could do anything that's legally described by the charter. I mean, you got. I mean, if you're not gonna go by the charter, just burn it up. Don't even go by. Do what you want to do. That's what you're doing anyway. You might as well make it legal. Throw the charter away. Get another.
I know you feel strongly about
It
it.
don't even make no sense.
Sorry.
It don't even make no sense to be trying to have an issue over a non-issue.
I second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor? If we go to
Declaratory
a
judgment.
declaration on this,
We're gonna pass around some blood pressure meds.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Two in favor.
Yeah, we can do roll call.
Okay. We have Miss Virginia McGee.
it's 3-1.
Well, you said, I didn't know what you said, it sounded like you said nay, so.
That's what I
Nay means
said.
no.
Yeah, he said no.
Like E&O.
Tyler said no.
So he didn't pass.
Yeah. Wait, no. There's no point wasting taxpayer dollars going to a judge over this, when everybody can just grow up and be an adult.
Yeah, I know what you
Okay, so Tyler, you said no.
We got 2 and 2.
2-2.
So
3-2.
Parks has to vote.
That's right. I'm gonna vote no. I don't want to spend the money.
That's the only vote you gonna get.
Bruce, you got something?
I guess I'm a little confused. Maybe I don't know, this out of my league, but if we got 5 councilmen present, and I know the meeting after that first failed vote came and you had a motion to hear a non-agenda item, to me, a motion to vote for that vote seemed like to me would suffice. You got all 5 council here. If you make a motion to vote to elect the mayor, he just gave you an opinion. That was an opinion from the attorney. That didn't say that you couldn't vote still on the mayor. And he actually opened the door for you to actually have a vote. And I don't care either way, trust me. But I just think that I'm missing something, or y'all missing something. But it seemed like to me, with all 5 councilmen present, and if you need to elect a new mayor for this term, you make a motion to vote for a new mayor. And whatever I guarantee it won't be a tie, because it's 5 of y'all. So maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like he opened the door for that to be a possibility.
Any other discussion?
What we gonna do?
Move on to committee reports. All right, I got nothing to say about anything other than the fact that we did buy some asphalt millers this week. We did some road work with. Part of that would be to hopefully fix the driveway here and around the park, and clean up in the parking lot area around the city hall.
Can we use any of that for that road off the tires?
As far as we can go.
Cause we need something done to that road.
The only problem is that if we put that stuff on the road, it's got to be rolled, it's got to be packed in.
Is that that road, that washout you talking about that goes downhill?
Yeah, we just can't just leave it like that. I
Can the
mean,
county road, can the county, roll it, if we have enough of it?
All ask, sure we can.
Okay, we'll go through that process. All right.
Is that road Lime Rock already? Or is
yes,
it sand?
it's Lime Rock.
It's the same stuff, they took out on Picnic Street and they put it on the road there, so.
From Picnic?
I just didn't know if it was sand, if it needed a road base first.
When they resurfaced it,
That look like Lime Rock on that road.
well, it was,
Oh, you talking about before it washed away? Okay, yeah.
there was old milling, that's what it was.
Sue, have we contacted DOT about the red light? Had a chance to talk to them about the signals?
I haven't talked to them. Have you, Curtis?
Is that
All
it?
the signals they were supposed to put in the ground when they changed the loops out.
I have no idea.
We need to touch bases with them on that.
Cause it looked like they, from what I'm seeing, like, they went over them.
Well, that's just the first.
They tore all that out.
They tore it out, I'm saying they tore the loops and
They
everything.
went back to the base at the corner of they'll probably replace them.
They're gonna have to put something back, I mean.
Right, I was out of town when that took place. I didn't see it, so I was just curious.
But see, that's the state road, right?
Yeah, they said they were supposed to redo those loops because they gave us the option to put the camera up, and we said no, because it was $10,000. So
Right, so they said they were gonna wait till we
they would have to redo it when they repaved it.
paved it, right?
Right.
So we just need to follow up with Logan Mayor and make sure they do it.
All right. Curtis, we got anything else we need to talk about?
Well, that's it.
Everything else here. Ms. Sherry?
We already talked about the 4th of July. We're gonna have signs put out for that.
I was waiting for the movie. She's gonna put the movie on the signs, but yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna get those cameras out soon.
Soon.
I'll help you, I'll be more than happy to help you if there's something I can do to help, but, I'm just telling y'all.
Just gotta have time to go up there and program.
School is out and children are free. That's not always a good thing. It hasn't been for the park at all. So before it happens, let's at least have a way to possibly catch somebody. Because it's gonna happen, unfortunately.
Tomorrow, I'm busy in the morning, I'll come backwards.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Tom?
Nope, I'm good.
Ms. Virginia?
Just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Curtis and his crew for, keeping everything going. And thank y'all to everybody that's been working hard.
12,000,
That's it.
2,100, 12,000. 12,000.
That's a free tip. Franklin?
I'm good.
The estimate is in your pocket. The whole paper, the whole paper is in there.
All right, you got anybody else in public participation? All right, have you all had a chance to review the bills?
I had one question about it, and it's probably from when I seen him down there. Nick's check from the fire department. Was that when he was down there doing stuff in the, what was that for?
It's the fire department check where
Was it for the stuff with the baby box originally and the computer and stuff added to it?
I think it's one of these high ones.
He's pretty
It
involved
was
right
like $4,200.
Yeah, he's pretty involved right now with everything going on at the fire station and then everything going on with Koozie and we got a long good time right now, so.
I was just didn't know what he had for $4,200 for fire station. That's it.
All right,
Make a motion to pay the bills.
I second.
we have a motion on the floor and a second. Pay the bills. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same, motion carries.